Hello, Real Writers. Chris here. Happy Sunday, and welcome to another Journal with Me session. Welcome. If you're new, we journal on cards I pull from one of my many oracle or tarot decks. We read the meaning and consider some possible questions for journaling, and then we journal for 10 minutes. And then I usually close out, or I've begun closing out with probably sharing TMI about me. But whatever. Might as well just let it all hang out. This is journaling, it's intimate, and I want to encourage that intimacy with yourself for you, so I'm happy to start to pull back the curtain on some of my stuff. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. I hope this is helping you develop a good journaling practice. We've been doing this for more than 3 months now. We're probably close to 4 months, or maybe this is 4 months. I should probably check. Just to note again that I still have braces. I have 3 different elastics in my mouth in different shapes right now, so talking is sometimes a challenge, and you might even hear the elastic, and in which case I truly apologize. If you've ever had braces, you know the torture. So back to the deck. This is the Goddess Power Deck by the Goddess of the Oracle, Colette Baron-Reid, illustrated by Jenna Della Grottaglia. It's probably said way more beautifully because I'm sure it's a beautiful name, and she has illustrated a lot of Colette's decks. But first, let's light a candle. This is the Wisdom candle. This is a Reiki charged candle from a store I go to regularly to buy these candles. I love them. It is made of coconut. The oil fragrance is composed of coconut, mint, cedar, and eucalyptus. All good things. And here is the candle affirmation, which you can certainly write down if you wish and use that to journal on. It's always an option. Allow me to use my inner being to see and understand the deeper meaning of life. Let me counsel others to find a place of joy and tranquility in this world. So I'll read it again. Allow me to use my inner being to see and understand the deeper meaning of life. Let me counsel others to find a place of joy and tranquility in this world. So that's perfect. We're looking into the deeper meaning of life with these sessions. But also what I'd like to say is the idea of let me counsel others to find a place of joy and tranquility in this world. These sessions are for you to find a place of joy and tranquility in this world, and then from there you can go on and share that with others or inspire that in others. But please don't feel like you have to journal on how you need to help others because of how this affirmation is phrased. This is all about you. This is 20 to 30 minutes that are all about you. This candle is a sort of a red magenta color. It's really a rich, vibrant color, which I should have showed you before I lit it, but I don't really want to tilt it toward the camera and have something devastating happen. And I drew 3 cards today. Actually, they drew themselves. They all popped out together when I was shuffling. So I'm going to go through each one. You are welcome to pick 1, pick 2, pick all 3, and we will discover questions along the way of what we should possibly be writing about today. It looks like the focus is shifting on the camera because of the incense, but I kind of like the incense swirling around you and me in these cards. I think that creates an added layer to this experience and a certain atmosphere that I really love. And also it's kind of mesmerizing. Okay, Chris, pay attention. So let me move these over just a tad. And let's turn the first card. And I apologize if I butcher these names. There's no phonetic spelling in the deck, and they're beautiful, beautiful names. This is Parvati, Devotion. These cards are absolutely stunning. I don't think there's a single one that I am not responding to. And whenever you get a deck, you always want to go through the cards and meet your deck. So this is just, you can't quite see how rich this pink and mauve, or mauve if you prefer, and there's sort of a salmon element to it. Oh, it's just beautiful. Also, this incense is really intense. Whew. It's blessings incense, so it's being very aggressive about its blessings this morning, so, or this afternoon rather. So that's a good thing. It really wants us to know that it's got our back. All right. This is number 41. True commitment comes from wholehearted living in body, mind, and spirit. When the Hindu goddess Parvati rises up to greet you, she is acknowledging you for your sincere devotion to personal growth. With the world in so much turmoil, it's not easy to devote yourself to higher knowledge and a strong faith. But if you are to serve others by being a bearer of love, compassion, and light, you must recommit yourself every day, as unwavering in your devotion as Parvati was to Shiva and her goal of bringing peace to the world. Parvati asks that you find silence in daily meditation to contemplate your devotion, as well as your commitment to all of life and to making this world a better place. The great goddess is present when you renew your devotion and make that relationship primary above all else. Then in all areas of your life, your every choice will be in alignment and in service to this truth. When the goddess Parvati comes to visit, it is a beautiful sign that you are on the right track. I don't know about you, but whenever a card says something like everything will be okay or you're on the right track, I just get this profound feeling of relief that, okay, okay, great. Because just everything, it gets so confusing. Life gets so confusing and intense and bewildering and chaotic, and you just need someone to say pretty much every day, I think, life will be okay. It will be okay. You are on the right track. And so here is Parvati, who is acknowledging us for our personal growth, for these sessions we are doing together in journaling. So perhaps for this card, you could think about what more you could do for your personal growth. And, self-care as well. That's the same thing, but to some degree. But what could you do? Is there an area of your life that you need to focus on, and you could meditate on it, you could get books, you could journal about it, you could meet other like-minded people to work on it. If therapy is needed, you could do that. It depends. Therapy can be super expensive. Or just find a friend who the two of you can support each other through a growth experience that you're interested in. And personal growth doesn't have to be painful. It could be that you have always wanted to write, for example, or do some kind of art and you want to take a class, or you want to start walking or running or cycling or swimming, or you want to focus on a healing art and training in that, or go to yoga, have a regular yoga practice, or I have a regular movie practice. I go to movies a lot. I love that we can watch anything we want when we want, but I will sometimes go to the movies every weekend. And I know that sounds exorbitant, but I do not buy coffee. I don't go out to lunch every day. I live not too far from work, so the money I have to spend on gas is not terrible. So spending $32 a month on movies is not a horrible, outrageous thing to do. And I don't always go every weekend because, frankly, summers are now all about action movies, which I could care less about, and fewer independent or foreign films, which I really like to go see. So I apologize. I hope that doesn't make me sound snotty or snobby. I just mean that they're more, they run deeper for me, and they're more challenging and make me think and often make me uncomfortable, which I think is kind of a good thing. And then also there are sweet movies that I go to see too. Rom-coms, guilty. So, pick what you want. Or, I also go to the woods every weekend and go hiking. So pick your thing so that you have time for yourself and time for your thoughts and your feelings. And this card is also asking you to find a daily meditation or contemplative practice. So maybe journal on some of these ideas and what you might come up with for yourself, or whatever this card comes up for you in terms of its meaning. Devotion, just the term devotion might be meaning something else for you. So feel free to journal on that. Card number 2. Oh, I love how we've got this little pink thing going. Maya, illusion. See what I mean about these cards? Oh my gosh. They're magical and lush. Okay, so this is card 34. And thank you, Colette, for numbering your cards. Really appreciate it. So helpful. When you look at the world, everything you see appears to be real. So it's easy to imagine that your current conditions are influenced only by obvious actions and calculated movements. This is an illusion, as everything is intrinsically connected, though not visible to us due to the limitations imposed on our perception by our 5 senses. Hindu goddess of illusion, Maya, calls you to trust that the invisible world is responding to your deepest desires and intentions to make a better life for yourself and others. You are able to see through the curtain of illusions. Your clarity and intuition is heightened as your next steps are sure-footed. When the goddess Maya chooses to help you, trust that everything you need arises from your world with ease. Well, we're 2 for 2, everyone. We're getting some very positive messages here. So you might take stock here. This card to me, whenever I hear things like this, this goddess calls you to trust the invisible world is responding to your deepest desires and intentions to make a better life for yourself and others. So you might want to look backward and over the last few weeks or a few months, even just a few days, and see what's happened in your life and how you might have called that into being. Did you make a wish? Did you write an intention? Did you have a nervous breakdown and scream at the universe, WTF universe? Like, come on, help me out here. Did you meditate? Did you tell a friend a dream of yours and it's starting to come true? Did you take action? That's always important. Take action. And then from that action, some things unfolded that were either good or great or seemingly miraculous, or even, set you a bit on the wrong path and you had to course correct, but it made the path clearer so that you could see where to go, whereas before it had been unclear. So, take stock a little bit, look backwards and look at that. Maybe journal on that. Because learning what you thought and felt and did that resulted in these events is going to help you move forward with further intentions and affirmations and goals and things. You're going to be able to be more focused and better able to do what will result in what you want, whether that's feeling something or thinking something or telling someone what you want, or writing it down, or doing some kind of ritual or whatever it is, meditating on it, so that it will be less random. Sometimes things flow really well and we're thinking, great, I've got it, I'm in the groove, I get this. And then suddenly they go wrong and we can't figure out how to get back to where we were in the flow. If you're paying more attention to the causal link between what you are thinking, feeling, and doing and what happens, you'll be able to be back in the flow quickly and figure out what actions you need to take, or where you need to stop and pause and take stock and meditate and do whatever. I mean, you don't have to meditate. If this stuff is not resonating with you, you could just write out your intentions, write out your goals, read them regularly, take steps toward them, and see what happens. It could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be complicated. Okay, so the last card. Ooh. Radical acceptance. Freya. Look at that. How dramatic is that in comparison to the softer colors of the other cards? She is super fierce, Freya. Okay. Number 45. We're getting all odd numbers here today. So 41 is 5 when you add it together. 34 is 7 when you add it together. And 45 is 9. 579. That's interesting. And that's not 45. That's 15. Okay, Chris. There goes her theory. My theory. Speaking in the third person about myself. Sometimes that helps. So yeah, the numbers are a little flowery in some places, so they can be a tad hard to read. They're beautifully written out, but sometimes a bit flowery. Freya, when you see life as a battleground, you lose sight of a more easeful way to be in the world. Can you stand in the middle of the chaos and allow yourself to center in the quiet hum in the eye of the storm? Let the peace of Freya, the Norse goddess of war, enter your mind. Okay, I'm sorry, that struck me as rather contradictory there. Let the peace of Freya, the Norse goddess of war, enter your mind. Okay, I get it, but that's funny. That just was funny to me, sorry. Amid the flurry of battle, she came to collect the fallen and bring them to a place of rest and recuperation. Freya is here to remind you that the acceptance of defeat is not the end. She offers the gift of acceptance, the knowing that there is nothing to resist right now. See your world at face value and look into it with discernment. When you see with greater clarity, not taking this world so personally, you will not have to fight at all. If you take full stock of your conditions, surrendering to what is, you can move to higher ground, begin again, or wait until the drama dies down on its own. You are the strongest, most grounded, and most powerful when you remember this is the strategy the goddess Freya offers in your support. So I love that this card showed up, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to lean back from the from the incense, which is again rather aggressive. But I don't want to do anything about it because I love how it looks on screen. I hope it's not annoying you, but I think it adds a lovely sort of abstract, intangible, metaphysical kind of element here. So I love how this card shows up because here we have these softer cards saying everything's great, you're on the right path, things are coming to you with ease. And then you have this card because if there are some of you who have been watching these other two cards or listening to the readings and thinking, well, that's not me, things aren't going well, things are not happening with ease, this is really annoying, life is not always beautiful and easy, and it's sucking for me right now and I'm pissed. I hear you. I'm dealing with some of that right now. The first two cards just do not apply to me right now. I don't know that Freya does too, but it might more than the other two. So we'll see. But I think it's good to have the opposite where there are people, I'm sure, right now watching who are having a really shitty time. And they need to feel like a warrior to get through it, and not necessarily to fight their way through it, but as Freya is saying here, to accept. So whether you are going through something intense or you've just gotten through something and you feel like you are lying on the ground and need someone to pick you up, here's Freya. She's here to pick you up and help you pick yourself up. And so her message to you today, if you want to journal on this card, is acceptance, knowing that there's nothing to resist. See your world at face value and look into it with discernment. How might you be taking what's happening really personally, and how might you be fighting and making it worse and making it harder for yourself? And the card calls you to take full stock of your conditions, surrendering to what is, and find a way to move to higher ground, begin again, or wait until the drama dies down on its own. So which of those things do you feel like you can do? Move to higher ground, begin again, or wait until the drama dies down? That might change over time. It might be too raw for you right now, and so just hiding somewhere until the drama dies down may be all you're capable of right now. Moving to higher ground for a different perspective, which can help with acceptance, could then be the next step. And then when you feel strong enough, beginning again. So that might be what you want to journal on today. So let's do that. Here we go. We'll journal for 10 minutes and then we'll come back together. If you'd like to journal for longer, just pause the video when I bring us back and keep going from there. So that ends the journaling portion of our time together. I'd love to know whatever you'd like to share, what you journaled on today of these cards. Let me bring these back into focus. This has been a very jumbled time for me. It just keeps getting more and more. There's sort of chaos, then a break, then chaos, then a break. And because of this pattern, I'm just learning to ride the wave now. So there were a little bit of each of these cards that applied to me. The radical acceptance card, though, is especially resonant just because of some family things going on. And, when life sort of falls apart or takes a really bizarre turn and you can't really course correct, it's just how it is, then sometimes radical acceptance is the way to go. I think that I can see how all of these cards would be helpful, but that was the card for me. Just share whatever you like, something about what you journaled or a question for me if you're a writer. I'm an editor, so I'm happy to answer that question. I'm a publisher, so I'm happy to answer those questions too. You do not have to be a writer to participate in these videos, but if you are, feel free to comment. Put whatever's best for you in the comment, but it helps us get to know each other. So that's it. It ran a little long this week. Thanks for sticking with me, and happy writing.